of amazing conversation. I believe you've been following an amazing conversation that has continued on our social media platforms, on YouTube and on also in Instagram and Facebook. We have been having a conversation on mental illness, and it has been so successful. The last episode aired yesterday on Friday, and it was so beautiful. And I hope you are enjoying it, and I hope you're learning a lot from it. And if you have someone who is in need of help and who needs someone to talk to, please reach us on our social media platforms, on our Instagram page at Eagle Mamas. Just DM us, and you will be you'll receive help, and someone will be ready to talk to you. So today we shall be having a conversation that most of the time, not only in our country but most of our families rarely have, and the topic is on sex. I know, right? Let's talk about sex. And so on set today we have an amazing gentleman who I believe you have met, you have listened to him, because he's an amazing person. So without further ado, I would like him to introduce himself. Karibu sana Maiji.
Nashukuru sana Steve.
Uko poa?
Niko fiti tena sana. Thank you for hosting me. My name is Sami Kandao Mamorin. I'm saved. Currently pursuing Bachelor of Commerce at Park University. I'm also a facilitator in Doulos. That's based in. Let me do some marketing for them. Now I turn lepa. Doulos is an exchange program that you do once the Form 4 leave their school activities at KCSE. Yeah. So what we do is mentorship, talk about the topic of today's sex and its environs, talk about leadership and all sorts of things. All in all, in general, what we do is just mentor kids before they
go to university.
Yeah. So for me, that's what I do. I'm also I work at Ewemwa.
You work here.
I work here. The mkubwa wa system yao. Huko tumention.
Unafanya kazi.
Unafanya kazi hapa. Yeah. And it's my it's a delight.
It's a delight. Yeah. You know, it's so beautiful. He's one of tupatane. Most of the time he's behind the scenes. Today nikamwambia kuja tukae chini tu. Tuchapiane. Tupatane. So without further ado, I would like just to start with some few facts. And I know we did teenage pregnancy a while back, and I hope you're learning a lot of things from these amazing conversations. If you want to be part of this amazing broadcast, Tupatane, you can also reach to us on Tupatane, or go to our Instagram page at Eagle Mamas, and please DM us, because that's the only way. Tutakuwa tukiweka number very soon. If you're talented in camera work, if you're talented in content creation, if you're talented in sound engineering, if you're talented in lighting and stage management, please reach us out na tufanye ile kitu, si ndio? Tusaidiane. So I would like us to start with amazing facts, yeah? And this is from Nairobi in Kenya, where we are all. A quick trend analysis shows that Nairobi County is leading with 11,795 teenage pregnancies in the period January to May 2020. This is likely higher than last year's figure, that was in 2019, sorry. These figures in the same period there were 11,410 cases reported. Kakamega County is the second with a close to 6,686 cases compared to 8,109 cases last year. Very interesting facts. I would like us first to start with the facts, and so as we delve in the topic of today, or the topic that we shall be having this whole month as we continue, is sex. So let's see also the statistics on rape. Kenya police statistics on the incidents of rape reported to the police indicating that 1,291 cases were reported in 2006 and 876 in 2007 nationally. Rape is the most highly underreported crime in Kenya. it is estimated that only 1 out of 20 women in Kenya will report a rape, and only 1 in 6 will seek medical assistance. Sam,
Yeah.
these are the statistics, man. And now, how in a couple of months back in 2020, we had an issue, as we have read on the statistics of teenage pregnancies. We had a conversation on teenage pregnancy, and one thing that really stood out was sex. That sex is happening in our country, in our homes. Wazazi hawajui ama wazazi wanajua, lakini they don't know what to do about it. So when you hear such statistics, what runs into your mind?
For me, it's hard. Not that I'm judging, but I think we've compromised. We've compromised what is important. Na tunaenda ile phrase ya prevention is better than
cure.
Because we've been left to juggle between which one is the lesser evil.
Okay.
Yeah. Nowadays, kitambo ilikuwa don't engage in sex.
Yes.
Abstain.
Utapata mimba.
Hiyo nakumbuka pia tukiwa watoto tulikuwa tunashinda tukiimba. What siku hizi ni if you're having sex, use a condom.
You have been given an alternative, so you can have it.
You have sex.
Don't worry.
But as long as
you have a condom.
You have a condom.
Yeah.
And if guys didn't realize that things are slowly escalating to, guys are now doing it raw and going for the P2 pills, not realizing the adverse effects that these pills
are having to their lives.
Yeah. So for me, say sex imekuwa casual.
Very good.
It's no longer normal.
It's no longer sacred.
It's no longer sacred, man. Unajua siku hizi imekuwa ni
kama hujafanya wewe ndio uko pabaya.
Shida yako. Whatever you do with information, it's up to you. But I think it's time we take responsibility for what has been going wrong in the society or what is wrong in the society. Because Steve tukiwa watoto tulikuwa tunaangalia wazee wetu.
Yes.
Sasa ndio wazai. Unaget?
Soon to be fathers.
Soon to be fathers. But ni sisi bado tunapropagate nini? Tunamwagilia kitu. Yo. I'm not saying you shouldn't have sex, but protect yourself. What are you telling me?
And it's so interesting that as we have this conversation, a lot of things runs in my mind, because najiuliza the first question, why is this happening? Is it that kuna point moja umesema we no longer consider it sacred? I remember kitambo when I was young. Ungeambia mtu story ya sex, first of all, there was a way that we would approach such a topic. There was a way when someone said, let's have sex, it will hit your mind first. You will take time and think. Recently, let me give a recent event. We love events. And recently there was an event in Varsha, a Safaricom, well, not Safaricom, but Safari rally that was happening, because it's an international event. And so we had, as Kenya, we had an opportunity to host it. And it was in Naivasha. And so there was the hashtag Varsha. But the question is Varsha now Las Vegas? When they say this term, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas?
Sin City.
So do we all have seen, or we all know about the story of Varsha? Personally, I never got an opportunity to go to Naivasha. But most of the people never went there because they were Safari rallies enthusiasts. Watu walikuwa wameenda
buchari.
Walikuwa wameenda kufanya vitu zingine, and just to put it and to ask you that question. Is it that we are immoral, we decaying morally? Is it
that's a fact.
Because I remember there was also an event in Machakos called the Masaku Sevens, and that again, I believe you remember, was yet another Varsha experience. So, Sam, do you think tumeanza kudecay na hatujui unajua mtu ukiwa na kidonda na umefunika ujui kioza? lakini unajua una kidonda. Imefika hiyo point that reasons tunaona statistics kama za rape zimeanza kukame up, nilirepiwa, like the incident unfortunately that happened, I believe this year, of that lady who was raped and killed, I believe in Juja, if I'm not wrong. And he was the person, the perpetrator, broke her spinal cord because she was found raped. Is it that tumeanza forget it's no longer us against ourselves but against the vice or morality?
I like the analogy umetumia that unaweza funika kidonda na msee hatajua the extent at which
inaanza kuoza.
Yeah. But kuna kitu moja profound. Ukifunika sana ukose kuiosha, yunuka.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of seeing now, it's a matter of the stench that it produces.
Okay.
And I think that's what the society has been doing. Tumekuwa tukifunika vidonda. Sasa watu ndio wanaanza kupata ile effect ya smell, hiyo odor venye inanuka. And it's funny, why? Because we'll talk about it, we'll make it trend on Twitter, on the social media pages, but nothing will be done as far as curbing it is concerned. We cannot all be there for such incidents. Si makara wote watakuwa hapo. But tuko na personal responsibility. Kumbuka society si mimi pekee yake. Ile society tukiwa wengi.
Yes.
Na get. Hii topic ya sex imekuwa ikibebwa so casually. Now when you bring it up and say guys are supposed to abstain, they call you a primitive person. Like in what generation do you exist?
Why are you acting like you're not in this generation?
Exactly. So kuna hiyo pressure ya I'm trying to fit in. So let me do what others are doing. Remember Timothy calls us to stand out. Yeah. And I think it's quite critical, especially at this time, to get people to understand what the scripture is saying. Personally, I am a Christian. So forgive me if this offends you in some type of way. Kuna religion ingine, but I am a firm believer of Jesus Christ, and that's what I do and that's what I spread. So for me, background basis, foundation, you have to reach back to scripture. Remember, the Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun. The sexual perversion that is there right now, it is still there a long time ago. And the Bible clearly records that. And its adverse effects.
We remember the incident of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's like this is a replica of that,
Sodom.
Of that period.
The city,
If I might digress a little bit. Nowadays we have interviews on gay sexual activists. And sorry to say, usually in your music, why are we entertaining?
Propagating such
because if at all tumefika point ya kudiscuss about gayism and their rights, niko like what can we discuss about?
Kila mtu atasema I stand, this is my right, this is my body,
this is my body.
I'll use it the way I want it.
Na nikajiuliza, we have so many reports, so many interviews on issues that are affecting our country, but we've never had an interview
on
sex.
Where
are we having sex? Teenagers, where are we having sex?
By the way, I don't know, but I think this will be the first one, because if you look at it keenly, if you're not having that conversation right now, but then we are bound to fall and to fail. Because when you say it like that, I question myself and ask, what am I doing about it? What is my role in this issue? Because if this issue is happening, then I'm failing in one or another. Because you find me with a group of men, the conversations you're having are not maybe even to encourage you to abstain. Let me take you back to memory lane. Remember the first time I remember Jimmy Gado, and he would come out and say, you know what? Wacha Mpango Wakando. Do you remember that advertisement? If you do, please leave a thumbs up. And just, the old people, the quote unquote wahenga. There was that. Wacha Mpango Wakando. So morality was a society it was a duty of the society to uphold morality, morality in the country and in the world at large. I remember when there was this advertisement on To Chill, and that was every single time there was abstinence being propagated. Now, is it that imefika point hata watu walikuwa na propagate hizo issues wana feel ni kama I need to change my stand?
Kuna kitu wenye wase wajai notice. Na wase wajai get to understand. As long as you're a firm believer of what is right, you'll be the minority
at all times.
At all times. Kitu yenye nakatia raha watu. Bro, watu watakuja.
Kwanza hii generation yetu wenye madara.
Ataanza kuambia watu ataanza kunyorosha watu
ukweli.
Ambia oya, hii kitu ni ofai kufanyia time. Kuna kitu fulani kwa kuwa na ukweli. Sasa kwa ukweli kama ingia mahali.
Kuna mahali inauma.
Na kudunga mahali. And for us who are still out there and we're still championing to uphold morality, to abstain from sex, I applaud you. Tusichoke.
As much as minority we may be,
as far as I'm concerned with the minority, and it's so sad that itafika point Steve imagine ukiona mtu wako anakwambia dad mimi nimehave sex. Nilionadi kitu ya body count ishatengenezewa memes ya mtu anaweza kulipia fare na body count yake.
Oh my gosh.
Watu ucheka but ukiangalia kile na maanisha exactly. And for guys, I as I said earlier, and if you allow me let me do this, I'm a firm believer of Jesus Christ. There are things called soul ties. Bro, utapata huko na tabia nyingine, lakini Julie engage na mdeo ukapiga ile kitu.
You had sex.
Unapata uko na tabia zingine. And personally, me sikuriziwa hivyo. I've been raised in a stern, underline the word stern, Christian family, and I thank God for that. Because wanasemanga experience is the best teacher. Please allow me to challenge that. Please allow me to challenge that. Because it is only a fool
who learns from his own mistakes.
Hakuna venye unataka kuniambia Jumona best yako fulani amepatia mdem ball, unataka pia kupatia na ball
ujue kupata ball
you feel aje, I get. Like there's some things that you cannot condone, there's some things you will not entertain, there's some things personally I will not entertain, whether you're in my sphere of influence or not. This is something that I'll always uphold. That if you are going to make it in this generation, ni sana tiuzi pata kuna gonesi ni sana usipata mawajo. Yaani sasa kupata virgins ni kama kupata gold.
Ni kama ume track. Umetafuta.
Umechimba ukapata. And it's so sad that we take things casually. We take sex as a matter of nikaa tu kutoka kwenda kunywa maji na kurudi. Man, God that created sex, it is something sacred, something so beautiful that it's supposed to be enjoyed it's God's gift towards you.
And interestingly enough, I would like also each and every one of you to know, we are not saying sex is bad. I think it's like when you say, I want to buy a car and you're 15 years. Well, the first thing you'll ask yourself is, am I able to get a license at that age before I even think of buying a car? Why am I using this analogy? Because God created sex, if you're a believer or not. God's gift for us as human beings was sex, but in the right context, and that was in marriage. And so, looking at a lot of things and the narratives that are being propagated in our society right now, one thing I'll put clearly without coating it or sugarcoating it in any other way, it's deception. I think deception is truth poisoned. I think that's how I can put it. Deception is more like truth poison, and that is one thing that a lot of people are buying. And unfortunately, because it seems the in thing, the cool thing of the time, that's what people are clapping for. That's what people want. That's what people feel it's good for me because it suits me better in my skin. And the shoe I fit in hainifinyi because na feel hainiulizi kitu yoyote. And so the first thing I'll start by saying is for us to start changing the narrative. Because the reason why Sam is saying that where he was raised there was no conversation whatsoever to either compete with the fact of saying abstinence is not a way to go. But it's like the conversation that's running right now, or the conversation people are having right now, it has changed it all because ukiangalia on a lot of perspective, on a lot of platforms, either social media or Instagram, or even the conversations that people are having, or even in school. Sad enough, also in parliament, that the conversation on condoms is a conversation we want to have, and not on the side of abstinence, but on the side of, yes, we can have it as long as we give them condoms. Now, how will we be able to solve such a narrative, such a big issue, when we start thinking on that line? And so, Sam, back to you. As you have touched on a lot of things, and it really shows where you stand in the issue of not only sex, but the sin itself, because we call it a sin because of the context that it has been had. So if sex has been had out of marriage, if you're married, it's called adultery. If you're not married, it's called fornication. And we are not judging anyone. The first thing we want you to understand is the truth behind it.
Yeah.
The truth behind what and when and where should you have sex and why was it that way. Some you've touched on something that I would like also to add on and also to ask a question. Yesterday or in the recent past, we have had conversations with a lot of kids. Kids from the age of 15, kids from the age of 11, kids from the age of 10, who really know what sex is all about. Yani, when you ask this child what is sex, they will tell you like every single thing. Now, the saddest fact is that most of them are sexually active at the age of 10. Now, I would like to ask a question. Teenage pregnancy, tukiangalia hizo facts tumeanza kupatiwa ni traumatizing, inakushtua, unajiuliza, okay, if this is happening at this age, what about my child? When he comes or she comes to such an environment, to such a country, what will I be able to do? So, what do you think are some of the factors that are really, really contributing to such facts on teenage pregnancy, or to such approach to sex that we are so casual about it?
That's a very, very good question. And I'd like to open it up with something that Bishop J. Masinde, let me borrow something from Bishop J. Masinde. The bishop said that knowledge without wisdom is stupidity.
Yeah.
But wisdom without knowledge is dangerous.
Yeah.
What do I mean by this? It is a fact that nowadays to get any kind of information, any kind of knowledge is easy.
Very easy.
Very easy. That's why you find a kid for as young as 10 years old, 8 years old, already knows what sex is. Already knows some of the things that guys do as far as sex is concerned.
Watu wameacha kuambia watoto watoka supermarket.
You know, but the most amazing thing about this is the fact that you cannot teach someone to be wise.
You'll never teach someone how to be
You'll
wise.
never teach someone to be wise. But here comes the most amazing fact that you have the Holy Spirit who comes in as a helper, who helps you to become wise. Yeah. So I need, this goes to parents or those in authority over those who are young, those who are not of age, and also those who are of age and are still perverse in their actions. It is upon us to make sure that whatever we instill in our children forms the foundation of their thinking. The Bible clearly puts it, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be renewed in your thinking.
Be transformed in your thinking.
Be transformed in your thinking. That's what we are called to do. Look at this. God clearly says, do not. Do not. But, so he gives you a problem and then gives you a solution.
Yeah.
We usually call God our Father. This is the best example to give.
And the solution.
And a solution. If you only focus on the problem that we have, if you only discuss on how sex is bad and not a marital pretext, we'll only be highlighting where the problem is, but not giving solutions to the problem. So for me, it's a matter of how do we control the knowledge that our kids have?
Because again, information is free for everyone.
It's free for everyone.
You know, it's not like Kitambo when you would go to the library and pay an amount to be able to access information.
Yeah.
Right now, information is on people's tablets, on people's laptops, on people's information. Like we can look at internet from a very beautiful perspective. And we can also look at it from a very dangerous perspective, because you said something, when you have a lot, if you have knowledge and you don't have wisdom, man, you're foolish. But if you have wisdom without knowledge, it's dangerous. Because how are you using the wisdom you have? From what perspective? From what point? Because when you are using wisdom, it's applied understanding to a knowledge, to a certain information.
Yeah, because even the Bible still says that
lack of knowledge.
And also, it also says that according to the eyes of man, his ways are right.
But it leads to destruction.
It leads to destruction.
Yeah.
As you've said, that information is free for everyone. But at the end of the day, us who are parents, us who are elder brothers, elder sisters, we can curtail the amount of information, or the type of information that comes in to those who are younger than us. How do I mean? What I mean is, we're supposed to be involved in our siblings, stroke children's lives. It's not a matter of mimi nimeleta mtoto kwa hii dunia namlipia school fees, ameacha shule, and there's nothing that he lacks in this house. It doesn't end there.
Sure.
I can give an example of an animal. I don't mean your animals. I don't need to demean anyone. There's this animal known as the, I don't know if this is a sea weasel or it's an animal. I can't remember its name.
Land animal?
It's
It's a sea animal.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it can
go
inaweza chezea hapo.
Okay.
So it give birth to only one pup.
Okay.
Only one pup. And it nurses it for 6 months. How does it nurse it? It fends for it, but at the same time shows it how it's done, because the pup cannot fend for itself. Then after 6 months, that's the probation period. Leaves the kids. Bro, unajua nini kwanza tunafaa kufanya? Jipange. That's what you're supposed to do. Mtoya may come through. Bro. Mtoya ajui kitu. Atapata na mabishti wengine wanajua vitu wewe kushinda. Watampatia hizo vitu zote. But wisdom and dictating. The Bible clearly puts it that bring up your children in the ways
of the Lord. They will not depart from it.
And they will not depart from it. It's a basic principle. Whether you're saved or not, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not.
It will happen.
It will happen. Uzazi hainaga religion.
Indeed.
That's the funniest thing.
No one came here under religion.
No one came under religion. Ulizaliwa ukaambiaje? Wewe ni Mkristo, wewe ni Muislamu, wewe ni
Now you will decide.
You're the one to decide. When wazazi walifanya hivyo in the same manner, in the issues that matter most in life, wafanye tu hivyo. The basic principle, the basic instinct. But to signal vitu ati yaone mdogo sana hajui. You will be shocked.
They know more even than the people they think they don't know.
Ni katu share. Naget ngumi mbwegs. Si tunajua ngumi mbwegs kinamaanisha. Hii ni kitu kingine yenye come through. Wazee wanajua.
Hawajui.
As far as time is concerned, you're more knowledgeable
than them. And most of them even don't want to know what that means.
They don't want to know. So utapata unasikia mtaka nisema ngumi mbwegs, utaka nasema nataka kuiba.
Wewe unasema
umemgwebse unajua kana kwa mimi naenda mdem ni mshashe na get. So it's quite critical for us to understand that this period dispensation knowledge ni wide and free. So if you can be able to curtail the kind of information that comes to our children in a manner that itawafanya wa grow in an upright manner, itakuwa bia sana still.
And again, unfortunately, the world that we live in right now has given us room to a lot of things. From movies, let me tell you. And maybe the next episode I shall introduce an amazing lady. They're to scare from both perspectives. And it's not because there's someone who is better than the other, but because unaangalia vitu from, this is an issue that we can tackle both of us. We can tackle this issue from not from me, you're the problem, or you are the problem, or I am the problem, but from a point that this is the problem and what can we do about it. And so in the next episode, we shall look on a lot of things. We shall look on factors that are contributing to this sexually crazed community that we are creating every single day. Please, don't miss out. As you continue sipping tea, as you continue liking our videos, as you continue following and engaging in this conversation. This is Tupatane, and my name is Steve Kamau.